Hi, everybody. This is Gad Sad for the Sad Truth. Some of you who are familiar with my work know that I often use analogical reasoning to make a point. The drawing of analogies, especially if they are appropriate and poignant ones, can oftentimes allow us to better understand a particular logical structure. And in many cases, I use analogical reasoning precisely to demonstrate the cognitive fallacies of a particular argument. But in any case, today I wanted to discuss a fantastic analogical argument that was proposed by a psychiatrist from Australia. His name is Steve Stankovicius. I've communicated with him on a few occasions. He wrote an article in 2016 in the Daily Banter, and I'll share with you the link to the article at the bottom of this YouTube clip, where he analogized the environment of safe spaces on university campuses with a phenomenon from evolutionary medicine. So again, this demonstrates the pervasive nature of evolutionary thinking. I mean, everything ultimately that involves biological agents is typically linked to some evolutionary principle. Not always, right? It can't explain why you might like bowling and your friend likes fishing. But again, by having an evolutionary lens, it allows us to elucidate phenomena that might otherwise have been difficult, if not impossible, for us to tackle. And so in Steve's case, perhaps because he is a physician, he took this principle from evolutionary medicine known as the hygiene hypothesis. For those of you who don't know what that is, so if you look at rates of asthma and other respiratory problems, you often will find that kids who've grown up in environments that are very sterile, for example, you have a house that's very, very clean, or you have no pets, or you haven't grown up with other siblings who might, bring home some germs. Then if you grow up in this sterile environment, you're more likely to suffer from some of these autoimmune diseases, precisely because the argument is, from an evolutionary perspective, is that there is an ontogenetic mechanism, there is a developmental mechanism that, if you like, is requires that you be exposed to some environmental input, some level of exposure to allergens that would trigger your immune system to eventually develop the proper response, the proper immunological tolerance, if you'd like. And if you don't have that, then you're more likely to have respiratory problems. So he took this idea and then applied it beautifully to the notion of campus safe spaces. In this case, if we draw the appropriate analogy, the sterile environment, and he called it the safe space hypothesis to analogize to the hygiene hypothesis. The safe space campus is the sterile environment, right? If you remove all allergens, in this case, competing ideas that you are uncomfortable with, ideas that go against your positions, ideas that might get you to, wait for it, think, well then, you are then developing students, future leaders, who don't have the proper ability to engage in critical thinking. In other words, by not exposing them early in their education to the manners by which their brains should learn to coexist, if not debate, opposing viewpoints, then in the same way that a kid who grows up in a sterile environment and develops asthma, then you have students who grow up in sterile intellectual environments and they develop what I like to call ostrich parasitic syndrome. And so there you have it, a wonderful manifestation of how expertise in one area, in this case, Steve's training as a medical doctor, has helped him in offering a poignant and powerful analogy in the context of something that, of course, I deal with on a very regular basis, and namely how to reintroduce intellectual diversity and intellectual rigor within our university campuses and certainly within our public discourse. So there you have it, folks. I hope that you're having a good start to your week. If you appreciate this video, please share it and consider, of course, supporting my work through Patreon and or PayPal. Talk to you soon. Ciao.